It's your girl, Professor Cinephile, and I don't even know how to approach this because I'm really tired of y'all not knowing what y'all talking about. So here's the thing. I want to make clear to everyone that I think that you should go and see films regardless of what the reviews are. If it's a film you want to see, go watch it. Um, Sometimes people are wrong. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes I'm right. You could watch my reviews and think, wow, she's not right. But that's okay. Still go see the film. And I set all of that up because we are talking about the new Joker film. And I loved it. There it is. I said it. Professor Cinephile loved the Joker film. And I think you're going to like it too, if you think about films the way I do. Now, first of all, I have to learn what people get upset about when it comes to films. Like, so if you take a film like the Barbie movie, there were a lot of incels who were upset at it, the feminist messaging, the girl power stuff. I get it because they're losers and that's what they're going to do. Then there's times where people have certain expectations of films, maybe because they're part of a series and they've gotten used to things being a certain way, or maybe it's a repetition of a character or a group. If you think of, Marvel, the Avengers, you think of DC Comics, you think of all those kinds of things where there's different interpretations of these characters. I can see like some people getting disappointed, didn't go the way that they wanted, and that's fine. There's another thing for simply just not appreciating the artistry of a film and kind of disregarding it because it wasn't what you envisioned for this particular character, rather than just kind of sit with it and think, hey, this actually could be pretty good, even if it wasn't what I wanted. And I think that's what's happening with the Joker and the feedback. So, we won't even touch that too much. I'm actually just going to give you my views and my opinions on it. Spoiler alert, of course, I will probably talk about things in the film that might ruin it for you, although I don't think this is a film that actually can be ruined in that way. Okay? So the full film title is Joker Folie à Deux, right? I don't know how people see this title with the word Folie in it and don't know that there's going to be singing and dancing, right? So one of the number one criticisms, oh, it's a musical. It's like, why did they do this to the Joker? And it's just like, I could probably go into how this is not exactly a musical, but a film with singing and dancing and the difference between those things. But I actually don't trust a lot of folks to get that. So I'm just going to leave that there. There is singing and dancing, and it works amazingly well. Also, did you not see that Lady Gaga was starring in this film as Harley Quinn? Like, why would they bring a phenomenal singer into a film that's not going to have singing? I don't think the thinking caps were on, right? Okay. So we go in, and basically it's where we're meeting Arthur Fleck, and he is institutionalized, right? He's at Arkham, he's awaiting trial, killed people, all these crimes as the Joker, blah, blah, blah. If you're a purist, you probably think that Jack Nicholson is the best Joker. You, if you're like me, you think Heath Ledger was, right? I think those are the two camps there. But Heath Ledger lives in this film, and that's where I think people who are throwing this film away, they miss that really important point that this was a film that brings Heath Ledger back to us. And I kind of want you to watch it like that. So yes, there is singing and dancing. Joaquin Phoenix is I think this honestly is my favorite role that he's ever done because you forget that it's Joaquin Phoenix, right? And we can look at a range of his whole thing and his whole what do we call it? His whole career. I'll just say his repertoire, career, what have you. This is one of those roles that you're like, damn, that's Joaquin Phoenix. That's what, so that's brilliant. Like, how does he not win all the awards for this? This is fantastic. Um, Gaga comes in. I know Stephanie is trying to make her way as an actress, and y'all, she did what she needed to do in this film. We got to give her props. I mean, that is my Aries sister. She is just doing it. Vocally, of course, she is slaying in her parts, but she brings this ominous darkness to an already dark character that you're just like sitting there like, damn, I love you. Thank you for this. I was watching this film and I was just so proud of her, and I don't even know this woman. All right, so Joaquin as Arthur has a scene where he's singing For Once in My Life by Stevie Wonder. And it was so surreal because that is one of my favorite Stevie Wonder songs. And it's just like, okay, so why is Stevie Wonder here? But every song that they performed was perfect for this film. It went right into the theme. It was everything. They have scenes where they're like dancing together and it was just there's a word that keeps coming to me when I think about watching this film, and I think subversive. There is something about telling this twisted story of one of, our literature and cinema's most twisted characters and making it joyful in a film, where there's singing and dancing. There's something just even more sadistic about that you're just like, oh, we're going to hammer this in. We're going to make you watch the Joker sing and dance. It's going to piss you off, but it's also going to be amazing. There is a scene in the court scene. So a lot of this film takes place in court because he's obviously on trial. And it digs a lot into, kind of authors past and things like that. If you watched Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5, where we getting backstory on Freddy Krueger and his mom being a nun and she was assaulted by all these insane people and things like that, gives you that context, almost makes you kind of sympathetic to Freddy Krueger, but not quite because he's still a lunatic. That's what this film is giving us, right? So we're getting some backstory. We're learning more about how he became this person who needed to tap into this Joker, right? There is a scene that takes me back to a trial I remember as a young person. So in 1993, a man by the name of Colin Ferguson went on the Long Island Railroad and began shooting at people, right? And this is the first time that we kind of had something like that in my lifetime in New York City, where somebody just kind of went on this like wild shooting spree. But when he went to trial, he represented himself. And there's a moment, and I'm sorry, it's not funny. Oh my God, I'm going to hell. It was not funny. But there's a moment where he asked one of the victims, "Did you see me shoot you?"
Testimony that the defendant Ferguson stood right in front of you and shot you.
You weren't right in front of me. You were about 10 to 12 feet away. Approximately distance we're at about now.
And they recreate this in this film. And if you were not there, if you were not alive during that time, if you don't remember this Colin Ferguson Long Island shooting trial, you would not recognize that Joaquin Phoenix turns on almost a black scent when he's doing this. And it's a very signifying moment where he embodies Colin Ferguson and he's asking these people, like, did I do this to you? And I just started laughing in the theater. And I was just like, okay, so if you were born in the 90s, you probably won't get this. But this film has those kinds of nuggets in it that I think it's for people of a certain age. I think some of the folks that I've seen complaining about, this film probably don't remember Jack Nicholson's Joker. They probably didn't even watch, the whole Batman and Robin stuff from, back in the day, the television show and stuff like that. They may be just a little bit disconnected from a lot of the nostalgia of this. And so I thought that them kind of referencing that particular trial, especially because we always equate Gotham with New York and things like that, I thought that was divine. I don't have another word for that. So that was one of my favorite parts of the film. Another thing that I think gets explored more in such a there is nuance, there's subtlety, there's all those things, is the queerness of the Joker. I don't know how people like miss this or kind of like overlook it, but I do know why, because a lot of people are struggling still with their queer phobia, homophobia, and things like that. They don't want to think of these prominent characters as possibly being that. Even with you get a character like Deadpool, who is clearly written as somebody who likes to take pipe, or give pipe. They feel, oh no, he's not gay. We don't want to do that. Why do you got to bring the gay shit in? Well, I think that it's important to talk about that because there's a queerness of the Joker Harley Quinn relationship that exists outside of what we expect men and women to do with each other. And I think it's because she taps into the parts of him that possibly were destroyed through the abuse that he experienced. And there's just something there that, unfortunately, some men who have experienced, sexual violence at early ages may grow up confused about their sexuality, or things have been kind of, they're not sure, do I really like this or not? And there's an element of that where he's connecting with Harley in a very loving way, in a almost sensual way, not quite sexual way. They do have a scene, but it's not a sexual scene. It's more of, I'm connecting with you because I need you. And so there's a queerness there between their connection that is just, the backdrop is they're like two of the most violent people in the fucking city, right? But I love that, and I love that there's elements of the background, there's elements of how the costume designing and the makeup and everything, and the fact that they're fucking singing and dancing through the entire thing, and that they're being all jolly and gay, um, forces us to consider the queerness of the Joker's identity and Arthur's identity. And I don't want us to lose that, because I think that's super important in this narrative. Ultimately, I think that this is one of those films that reminds us what cinema is about. The artistry, the thought-provoking nature of many of the scenes, the dialogue, the lighting, the cinematography, the costuming, the makeup, all of those things that make for an amazing film. I think people kind of lost how that comes together to produce something that's actually pretty fantastic. I don't know why this generation or this time so many people are just anti-musical. I don't know if it's because they didn't have musicals in their schools when they were growing up. I don't know why people are just so anti-musical. I think that musicals are amazing and I love them, but also this is not exactly a musical, so stop being upset about that and just watch this film as a subversive commentary on the fact that you all had issues with the first one and when you needed to shut the hell up because you didn't understand that one either. And so all of you incel types, all like you said, the Fight Club bros, the podcast bros who want the Joker to be something more than what he is because you want him to represent you because you want to tap into your villain era, but you can't afford a villain era because you're corny and you don't get any pussy. I need y'all to stop, and I need y'all to start watching this film and the artistry of it and stop projecting your loserness. Stay on Reddit, or get off Reddit actually and go get some pussy. And then you might actually enjoy this film. For the rest of you who didn't need that rant, I do recommend go seeing this film. I recommend you go see it and enjoy it. I'm actually going to give it 4.5 hearts. Um, the half heart is because there was a couple of times I did fall asleep. But again, you guys know I go see these films after I've had like a couple of drinks, and that's my fault. But yeah, I go see it. Go see it. Absolutely go see it. Love this film. It's great.